Hey guys, welcome back. DripCoach here with Drip and Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. Let's dive in today's video. Another gem from Max Keiser, and in this one, he gives some sound advice, albeit hard to swallow, but essentially telling us, myself included, that we are all just degenerate gamblers that are addicted to shitcoins. So Max Keiser, if you're not familiar, is a Bitcoin bull, maybe not as eloquent as Michael Saylor, but been in the game for quite some time. And he's got a 3-minute clip that I want to play that we're going to break down in different parts. One, because I don't want to get flagged by the algorithm for content stealing. And two, because there's a lot to actually digest and unpack in here. So let's start at the beginning. Or more so, we're going to start at the end with this quote.
They're not well. So you can't gamble your way to making more money. And everybody...
You cannot gamble your way to making more money. Damn, that hit home, because that's exactly what I think we thought, or at least I can speak for myself, what I thought I was doing. It's like, oh, I'm going to chase the alts so that I can have more money to get into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's too expensive, so let me just go ahead and play with $1,000 and turn it into 10,000, I can buy more Bitcoin. But no, truth is really that simple. You can't gamble your way to making more money. Gambling is literally what it is. So you can get lucky, but the bulk of people get wrecked in gambling. So if that's your strategy, to take a little bit of money, turn it into a lot, and then invest in something sound, that is literally gambling, and you have an issue. Much like I did, and need to get help. And look at this from a different kind of thesis. So let's start where he's kind of introducing or talking about the alt with this question.
Would state that. Yes.
People out there. Yes.
Okay. Because a lot of people, Max, would and people ask me like, oh, I understand Bitcoin's different, but this cycle, beginning of the cycle, I'm going to trade the altcoins, get more Bitcoin, right? Like, what do you think about that kind of perspective?
Yeah, that's a different question. So trading in the shitcoin space is no different than gambling. Okay, so they're gambling, and people love to gamble. And the people who promote those shitcoins know that people love to gamble. There's a place for that called Las Vegas or Macau in China. And you may or may not know this, but the casino industry knows this. The emotional kick, the emotional high from losing is greater than winning. People who win at the casino, they're like, oh, that's cool, I won. And they get a little bump of endorphin. But when they lose, it's a much bigger bump. They suddenly are the star of a psychodrama of a man who's losing money at the casino, and his wife is leaving him, and his kids are starving, and it's so dramatic, and they're so important to this whole scheme.
So what he actually mentioned there, he kind of touched on. It's not necessarily a bigger kick or bump, but psychologically, according to research, this is actually true. What motivates gambling behavior and insight into dopamine's role? It's actually not the losing, it's the unpredictability, basically. So it's common believed that the monetary gain is the cause of gambling behavior in humans. Mesolimbic dopamine, the chief neuromediator of incentive motivation, is indeed released to a larger extent in the pathological gamblers than in healthy controls during gambling episodes. However, this suggests that the motivation to gamble is strongly, though not entirely, determined by the inability to predict reward occurrence. So there was another study that I had read a while back that basically it's the delay or the time between. So it's not once, say, a slot machine, everything lines up, you see you lost. It's literally the uncertainty of after you pull the wheel, what will happen. So it's that small gap that exists between stimuli and response. So the stimulus is you pulling the handle, and the response is, what the results display. But right there in the middle is where everything occurs, and that's where this is really talking about. It says, of course, a big win is rare, but the random component behind most games and the publicizing of big winners lets people believe that the chance of winning a lot is not so unlikely. In this traditional view, money is a gambler's primary motivation, and randomness in games allows the gambler to hope that the gains will overcome the losses. So, man, I saw that for sure chasing the drip network and finding relevant articles and comparisons across TradFi and Smarter People and all this to literally convince myself that I wasn't gambling and I was doing enough research. And I'm sure I had a lot of you all convinced as well, because like you could take the data and spin that narrative. So looking at it now, post apocalyptic wasteland, meltdown, scammer dev, and shitty influencers, now I can see behind the Iron Curtain and realize again the emperor has no clothes, and that we were definitely just gambling. And that's why, again, I only want to focus on this, because this, in my opinion, wouldn't be gambling. There is definitely some risk, but now that nation states, sovereign wealth funds, ETFs have adopted Bitcoin, and we won't be around when the last Satoshi is mined, so we don't know what will happen to miners and how they'll validate and what the price will be at that stage. We don't have to worry about that. So that black swan event is after we're dead. But for now, until then, there's a very, 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 very strong likelihood that this will continue to appreciate, again, specifically due to the fact that Bitcoin is evaluated in a currency that has no top. Or no bottom, no bottom. They can make more of it. Therefore, Bitcoin has no top. All currencies historically have debased or inflated themselves to zero, and then they get to reset. So now that you have an asset that can capture that, this will infinitely just continue to increase in price based off of those assets or those fiat currencies. So that to me is the safest of all gambling bets. So I mean, if you're going to gamble, purchasing real estate, purchasing the S&P 500 or ETFs or whatever it is, it's all, I guess you could all call it gambling, and some is just like less risk. So even T-bills and bonds, you know, even though it's backed by the US debt and the US government, faith of the US government, so to speak, that's still some form of gambling, right? So you got to accept that as the foundation, and then you find the most secure bet. And at this stage, that would indeed be Bitcoin. So let's move into the next portion of this. And I'm sorry about that chiming in the background. I have no idea what keeps disconnecting and connecting. So can't find out what that is.
Scheme of things. And so that's what the shitcoin appeals to gambleaholics. You know, and we live in a society of drug addicts and alcoholics and gambleaholics and porn addicted people. So they are feeding into Pornhub, shitcoins, Binance, Coinbase. They are shitcoin casinos. They're in the casino business. I've often said that Coinbase is an unregistered casino operating in California, that they should move to Nevada and get a proper gambling license, because they're not offering financial services. It's a gambling house disguised as something else. And so they're not.
That one's a tough pill to swallow. I wouldn't go that far because they do offer Bitcoin, but yeah, there are definitely a lot of shitcoins on there, and you can still make money on those shitcoins. But yeah, you can see he has no love for anything outside of Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is the same way, but he's just a little more eloquent with it. So I'm getting orange pilled, I guess you could say.
Not investing. They're not participating in Bitcoin. They're just gambling. Now, when you say I'm gambling in the shitcoin market so I can buy more Bitcoin, okay, go to Las Vegas and 1,000 people on the floor of the slot machines are all telling you that, oh, I'm going to use my winnings to buy a new extension on my house. Like my winnings, my winnings, right? But those 1,000 people are all losing. They lost 1,000, then they made $5. They're like, I'm a winner. I made $5. They're like, you lost $995. I'm like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Right? They're not well. So you can't gamble your way to making more money. And everybody.
And again, that's exactly what happened last cycle. So I can speak for myself, constantly seeing the chart go down and then trying to convince myself that, yeah, I'm winning. Oh, if I just hold on, if I just wait a little while longer. Oh, when this new DApp comes out. Oh, when Forex releases this. Oh, when we do that. Oh, when the market turns, right? So it's literally the same thing. Like, listening to him and being objective about it without like putting the earmuffs on and crying because your feelings got hurt. It's like, yeah, okay, that is kind of the harsh reality of the way this space evolved. And even seeing it now in some of the dapps that I've shared with you guys, it's still the same thing, but this time I went with less risk in regards to the amount I allocated. But literally it's the same thesis. Oh, we'll just pivot over here to this layer too. Oh, we're going to reallocate the funds over here. Oh, we're going to do this with the token. Oh, if we just wait till the bull run. Oh, when the halving comes. Oh, when Richard Hart pumps my back. It's the same shit. It's crazy. So like, but now I can step back and see it for what it's worth. And it's like, okay, I am gambling and I am trying to get, you know, additional dollars to actually get into the sound assets. So let me instead take a smaller portion of that and then focus the larger portion on the foundation. So I know that's going to trigger some people from that. But if, again, you're objective and look at your behavior and the outcome of said behavior, then you might come to the same realization as I have. And that's, again, why I am supporting this. There's still risk on this. Don't get me wrong. That's why I keep saying that every time that I mention this platform. The risk is that you do not own the keys. The risk is that it is someone we can't verify or put our finger on or anything like that. And you can wake up one day and this is all gone. But if you're pulling your Bitcoin off of this and putting it in cold storage, you win. You have done exactly what you're supposed to do in regards to sovereignty and securing wealth far into the future. And this platform can help you do that in spades against all the other shitcoins and at a huge interest rate that is far superior to anything in TradFi.
Everybody thinks that they can. But again, that's the opposite of being humble and stacking sats. That's the opposite. It attracts the fiat mentality. It attracts the gambleaholic. And that's what drives the prices of that total shitcoin casino.
And that is the last mic drop from him. You should be stacking sats. Stacking sats or purchasing small amounts of Bitcoin over long periods of time can pay off. So that's like the dollar cost average scenario. But like this chart shows you that 53 weeks of total investing at $5 a week ends up at $260. And your total value of your investment is $1,184. So you have a $924 total return on investment, or 355% return on investment. Total value of Bitcoin held. So you're accumulating Bitcoin at these prices. And then as Bitcoin appreciates, because we know it will, guaranteed every 4 years. So if you can hold over through the lows and maybe even in the bear market, increase your dollar cost average, then you know at the end of this, you will have more USD value. You also have more BTC total. And that's the name of the game. The name of the game is stacking sats. So I hope you guys listened to Max. Again, he may not be as eloquent and he might be hard to swallow because he's the way he approaches these things. But if you're honest with yourself, you will come to the same realization. Now, that's not to say that you cannot make money in there, but realize it is gambling and you may not have access to Macau or Las Vegas or an online casino. So this is a perfectly viable solution to gamble with shitcoins. But realize, again, you are indeed gambling and the deck is way worse stacked, not in your favor, than it would be compared to going against the house, so to speak, in a casino. Because the house here is scammy influencers that are getting into projects before they even shill them to you. And when they do shill them to you, they're using the money gained from the dev that, you know, hired them or reached out to them. And or they know that even if they didn't get paid, there's enough minions in their community to pump their bags and they can get out. Because remember, all you see is if they show their wallet, whatever wallet they show you, but you have no idea how much they put into that shitcoin or what other wallets they have. And when the project rugs or exploits, you have no idea if they were in on it or not. So there's too many unknown unknowns. That's why, again, I keep telling you about this. To me, this is the absolute best of both worlds. There are unknowns here. And if something like a black swan event happens where this rugs, if you were pulling your Bitcoin out and putting it in cold storage, then you minimize your losses versus, again, a DApp that is completely controlled by a separate entity and they make changes and you got to stay on top of things and see what's happening and then you're wrecked. So this is all verifiable on the blockchain. You can check your wallet and see everything there. And if you move it to cold storage, you have control over it. And that's literally the best of both worlds, because you are gambling, even gambling with Bitcoin. So if you're going to gamble, pick the one with the least amount of downside, the most amount of upside, the most people supporting it, and the most guarantee of price appreciation, which is, I guess, the upside. So I just repeated myself, but and the one that you can actually self-custody and take control of, and then eventually, you know, build a solid foundation from, you know, maybe leveraging for loans and things of that nature. Like, who knows what Bitcoin will become. But yeah, that's really all I got on that. So check out Max Keiser, Michael Saylor, Raoul Powell, all these other guys, and figure out how you can continue stacking sats. And this is a quick and simple way to get started with sat stacking. All right, check it out, drip2btc.com. Let me know what you think. Smash that HBO special, help a brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.
Want to pay your in real life bills with crypto? How about send crypto directly to anyone with a bank account? SPRITZ Finance is a decentralized solution to be your own bank and connect your crypto earnings to real-world bills and payments. They do not take custody of your assets and allow support on multiple blockchains and Web3 wallets. Sign up below using my referral link and you will get $50 back when you make your first $50 bill payment with crypto. Additionally, I will be using referral bonuses to airdrop, donate, or burn based on community feedback. Sign up now.